Hey, what's up my YouTube friends? In this video I'm going to give you quick overviews of a variety of new fixed blade knives that I have acquired. Now the theme for this video is going to be martial blades, which I would define as blades that could be used for combat, self-defense, practice of the martial arts, or even dispatching an enemy in time of war. Now, some of these knives are actually particularly budget friendly because I'm always trying to find good deals for you. I will include a list of all these in the description under the video if you are able to utilize US Amazon, so that is for your convenience and it helps the channel. Here we have a Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops Karambit. You've got 3.25 inches as the blade length, 7 inches overall length, 5.4 ounces. This was $25. The steel was just listed as 8CR, G10 handle scales. And here is a look at that sheath. It has eyelets, it has slits, it holds it, and it's got a clip there, and I'm going to push off that way to free it. And you don't have to use the ring. If you do not use the ring, the blade will be at more of an angle forward. Okay, so it really depends what technique you're doing. But that is the Karambit. These are vicious. These are meant for close range butchering. Close range butchering. Now the pricing on this is just right. It tends to fluctuate from $25 to $35. Okay, obviously that's a budget steel, but this is not meant for steel connoisseurs. This is meant for somebody who needs a 3¼ inch claw that can rip and tear and slit and gut. Final thoughts on this Karambit? Good for the price. It will do the job if you have that proper training, right? So quick, brutal, very deadly, and at this price it's almost semi-disposable. Hope you enjoyed seeing it. This knife is a new offering from Langren. That's a very well-known brand with a strong reputation. I've done full reviews of many Langrens. They are known for giving you very high-quality fixed blades. They went full psycho with this. Very pointed tip. Do not use this as a throwing knife, right? But this thing would have extreme piercing and slicing ability. Let's look at the stats. This was listed as the LR868, 5 inches in blade length, 9.4 inches overall length, 7.7 ounces in weight, 14C28N steel. The handle scales were listed as fiberglass, and the price is a very reasonable $50. It is a very, very pointed, slim spike of death. And then the back edge is also sharpened. That's just wicked. True full tang construction. It's got some texture right there. Very contoured handle. And you can see the grinds on this. I mean, this is a work of art. This is the sheath that it came with. It's got eyelets. It's got a clip right there. It's molded. It holds it in. It's silent. So that's the sheath. Well, I mean, I think it could do what it's supposed to do, right? If it's supposed to be a martial blade, right? This, first of all, this will gut you like a fillet knife, right? But it'll also pierce, and as it's piercing, right, it's going to tend to go up, right, or curve up. And then whatever crazy things you plan to do with that back edge, I can only imagine. Most likely this is based on some other knife, probably some way more expensive knife, because that's just the tendency with Lengren. Whatever this is based on, by all means, purchase the original knife if it's within your budget and if you can find one. But I've seen several variations of this type of blade shape floating around, right? I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Now here we have a nice budget-friendly dagger sold by Freelander. This is the ring dagger version of another that I've shown previously. So there it is with its brother, the purple dragon dagger that I showed in one of these previous survey videos. So you see, now these are undoubtedly made in the same factory by by the same contractor who just sells them to different brands. And these factories will put any changes that you want as long as you order a certain number. So you see what Freelander did. They basically had them make the same dagger but with a ring, right? Or the factory just came up with that variation themselves and they offered it to a different brand. Now the ring has some uses. First of all, you could just use it as an extra large lanyard hole, but it also has texture here, so you can hammer things, whether you want to, I don't know, hammer a tent stake or you want to hammer an enemy, right? Also notice the holes there, right? These are made, you see it's very much a spear point. So these are made so that you can lash them to something as spearheads as well. It is 4 inches in blade length, 8.8 inches overall length, 5 ounces in weight, D2 steel, G10 scales, and it was $23. Now, it's actually usually more expensive, but they often have a 20% off a digital coupon on the listing. So if you take advantage of that coupon on the Amazon listing, this cost $23 when I purchased it, right? So is it worth that price? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. If you need like a mid-sized dagger, 4 inches, it's almost like a perfect length for a good dagger, right? Because it's got sufficient reach, but yet it's concealable, right? Now this is a little bit extra wide for its length, and what that means is that basically nastier wounds. It's got true full tank construction, right? They kept it light. I mean, you can't beat that price, so I hope you enjoyed seeing it, and I'm glad I picked it up. And here's a comparison for you with the next dagger. So this GTK dagger is a little bit larger than the Freelander, sold as the GTK 50 dagger, 5.1 inches blade length, 9.8 inches overall length, 4.5 millimeters thick, 6.6 ounces. It is AUS 10 steel, G10 handle scales, Kydex sheath, and the price, $28. It came with this molded synthetic sheath. It's got eyelets, it's got straps, it holds it silently. All right, so that's a sheath. I like the looks of this dagger. You notice in this shot it looks short. It's not short. This is a little over 5 inches in reach. The reason it might look shorter is because it's extra wide. And again, that's pretty nasty if you think about it as a steel injection to the bad guy. Now, GTK is known for budget-friendly tactical designs, and they do really well in that area. So yeah, for this price, I'm loving it. Maybe I'm a little crazy because I like things like this, but what can I say? Stuff like this warms my black heart. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Next up, wow, that escalated quickly. The daggers are getting longer and longer. Yeah, this one, it's pretty brutal. So I'm just going to call this generic dagger. The seller is hand-forged Doctor. The blade length on this, 7 inches, 12 inches overall length, 0.2 inches thick, 10 ounces, high carbon steel, wood handle scales, leather sheath, $48. All right, let's talk. They just listed the steel as high carbon steel. Personally, I believe this steel is the equivalent of 420 HC, right? 420 high carbon. That's my estimate of what the steel is, right? An equivalent of that. Yeah, so this dagger, another interesting study in brutality. 7 inches of double-edged steel. Going into a bad guy, it just tends to make bad guys not be alive anymore. Yeah, those notches are actually known as Shiva's trident. Now, Shiva is a deity, and one of the things that Shiva does is destroy, right? So that's Shiva's trident. It's symbolic. But another thing it does, basically if blood is dripping down the edge, that will interrupt it and possibly hinder it from then dripping onto your hand. But that's just one theory. They just very cheaply put these handle scales on. right? So the handle scales, yeah, they're just very rough and crude, right? However, I still like the knife. Like a more fair price would have been maybe $35. So yeah, I did pay extra just because I have a dagger fetish. So it's definitely true full tang. It's got those tubed holes right there, right? But it's a little bit crude. Like it's definitely not flush, right? It's a little bit crude, just the way they've done these scales, right? So they basically tried to save money with those rosewood scales. But of course, I mean, when this is sticking in a bad guy, you're not going to care about if the scales were pretty, and he definitely won't either. The better brands, they're either afraid to make something like this, or when they do, it's much more expensive. Okay? And yes, I do have almost every cold steel dagger. I'm well aware cold steel makes good daggers. It's kind of like a project knife. Like the best thing to do, if you can, would just be to buy this and then replace the handle scales with something really nice. Yeah, it's slightly pricey for what it is, but if you like daggers, you're just probably going to eat that and maybe purchase it anyway. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. And here we have more vicious insanity from Lengren. Right? They're calling this the Rock. Now, as you can see, it's an angular tanto, but this is double-edged. That is sharpened. All right, that is sharpened. And it has some serrations that are not particularly sharpened, but still. That's vicious. And that piercing tip, right? You see the handle is highly contoured and it has a ring. You don't have to use the ring, right? You can just hold it like this. I have a large hand and it's fine. Or you could use the ring if you wanted to and you'd be choking down a little bit. It has an integrated guard. It has texture on a thumb ramp right there. Very strong piercing ability. True full tang construction. It is 5.5 inches blade length, 10.25 inches overall length, 6 millimeters thick, 10.2 ounces. It is Slampner steel, G10 handle scales. The price tag, $87. Now, keep in mind, for that steel and also with that significant thickness, that's actually a reasonable price. I mean, consider all the machining steps for this rather intricate blade design, right? All right, so it's got eyelets, it's got slots, it's molded, it's got a tech lock looking thing there. Holds it in, rattles slightly. All right, so that is the sheath. So yeah, this is just a very vicious design, and I'm pretty sure that this is actually based on some more expensive knife. Final thoughts on this. Well, you know, the martial artist in me prefers a neutral handle rather than kind of this asymmetrical and very contoured handle, but the knife collector in me is just chanting, you know, pointy, sharp, deadly, awesome looking thing, you know, cool looking deadly thing, cool looking deadly thing, you must buy. And also, I mean, the steel and the thickness and just the precision that how this was manufactured with every little detail got right. I mean, it's really easy to mess all that up, and they did not. I like the finish. So yeah, I think the steel puts this over the top. And as far as could it do what it's supposed to do as far as a weapon blade? Absolutely, right? This will pierce, slash, and slit. So yeah, I think it's a winner. I'm glad they didn't go too crazy with the price. It's actually pretty reasonable. Well, that was fast and furious. I tried to include something for everyone, right? The Freelander, the GTK, and that Smith & Wesson, those are at a sweet spot if you are on a tight budget, but you still want stuff that's eminently effective at what it's supposed to do. Now, these Langrens are of higher quality, right? Just all together, the fit and finish, and they use better steels. This one here, I consider it a project knife. The blade is solid. If you have the capability to redo those scales, or if you're the type that's just going to wrap them in some tactical like grip tape anyway, so you just don't care, then you might consider that. Now, if you like seeing a lot of pointy, sharp steel in your feed, be sure to subscribe. All right, this has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.